Howdy everyone, and welcome to this FM18 mini-series where I'm going to be managing Australia at the 2018 World Cup. This is my third mini-series already because I've managed Iceland, I've managed Egypt. If you want to check those series out, then go ahead. But Australia won the poll. I asked you guys, I gave you four options: Australia, Senegal, Japan and Peru. Australia managed to win with 32% of the vote, just ahead of Senegal and Japan, who both got 27% of the vote. So it was very close, this one. Peru did finish bottom. There is a new poll for Series 4 in the description below, so make sure you click on that to have your say who I manage next. There's no point saying please manage blah 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 next in the comment section, because there's 4 teams that I will manage in the next series. But don't worry, because I am planning on managing as many underdog nations as possible. So do not fear. I may even manage some of the favourites as well at some point. But Australia was chosen by you guys for this series. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really tough. Really tough. I know it will be, because Australia in real life, they struggled to get to the World Cup. You may remember those games against Syria, but they did get there. Then their manager left, and it's been a bit disarray really. They lost against Norway in a pre-season World Cup friendly in real life, but for me I lost against Austria. So I took control in May. My first match was against Austria and we lost 2-0. We did okay, but they were just too strong for us. And then this is just embarrassing. 0-0 draw against Faroe Islands. We were clearly the better team, but we just couldn't break through the Faroe Islands defence in the end. I had so many more shots, but we drew 0-0, so this is going to be really hard. I mean, this might be even more tough than Iceland. It's certainly more tough than the Egypt challenge, that's for sure. This is the squad that I've put together, the 23-man squad. There might be a few Australian faces missing that you guys would expect to be in here, but I tried to choose the team to fit my system. I tried to pick as many of the good players as possible. I had to put Tim Cahill in there. He wasn't actually in the squad when I took control. Other names you may know, you'll probably know all 3 Australian goalkeepers. They've got some decent goalkeepers, but Matthew Ryan, the Brighton man, will be my main man in goal. Who else might you know? If you're a Bristol City fan, you'll know about Bailey Wright, I suppose. Brad Smith, ex-Liverpool player, playing for Bournemouth now. Jedinak, Australian legend. He is the captain. Tim Cahill was only vice-captain, apparently. So, yeah, I kept Jedinak as captain. Rogic, the Celtic man. Luongo, who plays for QPR. Jackson Irvine plays for Hull. So there's plenty of players playing in Europe. And obviously, those of you from Australia will probably know the entirety of this squad. I hope you would anyway. Jamie McLaren actually plays for Hibs in real life, but he's just moved to... Oh no, right, he was on loan to Hibs from Darmstadt. So yes, he's actually playing over in Germany. Oh, Lecky plays in Germany as well. There's some decent players, there's some decent individuals in this squad. It's just trying to get them to gel together that I've found it difficult. And I thought I needed to go with quite a defensive looking formation. So I've gone with a 4-5-1 with Jedinak playing in defence midfield. However, it is an attacking mentality and some quite attacking instructions. So it's a fluid system. Everyone needs to work hard for each other. Everyone needs to try and contribute to attack. Everyone needs to try and contribute to defence. Whether that happens or not, I'm going to try and expose the wings through Lecky and Kroos and then our fullbacks. I actually brought Elric into the team simply because he's the fastest fullback I could find at right back, and he's got the best crossing. There were other right back options that were probably slightly better players, but their crossing ability wasn't particularly good. So yeah, I've changed things up a bit. For example, I'm going to get Rogic to shoot more often because he's got 17 on long shots. We need to get the best out of these players. Aaron Moy, the Huddersfield player, who really is our key man. I didn't even mention him before, but yeah, he is our key man in the middle. Needs to get the ball out wide to players, get forward. It didn't happen in the friendlies. But the difficult thing about this challenge is I'm going in cold. I've not had like a year or two to build this Australian team, build the Australian system, which is why this is a World Cup challenge. I might fail every single challenge that I give myself in these mini-series, but I'm going to give it my best shot to try and do as well as possible and try and win the World Cup with one of these nations. I very much doubt it's going to be Australia, but we'll give it a go. We do have quite a tough group. France obviously will be the favourites. They're actually the best team in the World Cup according to Football Manager, with all those simulations that I did. For those of you that watch those 2 videos will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, France are the best team. Peru, bit of an underdog. I might manage them at some point. They were, of course, in the poll, but finished bottom, unfortunately. They were actually top for a while, but then they ended up finished bottom. But I would quite like to manage Peru at some point. And Denmark, who a surprisingly good team. They've got some very good players, Eriksen of course, so we might lose every single game here, but there is potential to get out of this group. I feel like we can get results against Peru and Denmark, but it's going to be very tough. Anyway, our first match is against France, so yes, we might start off with a very bad defeat. So far at this World Cup, these are the results. Portugal just about scraped past Iran, but Spain drew against Morocco. Peru did beat Denmark, by the way, so Peru will be tough. Russia beat Saudi Arabia and Uruguay drew against Egypt. They did much better than I did. That's cruel. This is the lineup, which I've already shown you. Back two of Wilkinson and Sainsbury. We've got two English shops there at centre back. Well, it's called Wilco now. I remember when it was called Wilkinson's all the time. I still call it Wilkinson's, but you just call it Wilco these days, don't you? Ryan in goal. Elric and Brad Smith in the fullback positions. Jedinak, Cruz, Rogic, Moy, Leckie, and our main man Tim Cahill up front. I noticed a lot of players aren't particularly match sharp because they haven't really played much club football, I think, which is a bit irritating. Yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, I could create a rule where I'm allowed to max out the condition and sharpness of the players, but I'm sure there's other teams in similar positions, so I don't think we'll do that. Look, fortunately, I didn't have any injuries, so there's no serious injuries. Apart from Troisi, who got injured in the friendly against Faroe Islands. So he's basically out for the World Cup, and I can't remove his injury because he got injured in a pre-match, pre-World Cup friendly. So yeah, he's out of the World Cup basically, unless we miraculously get through to the latter stages. France are obviously the favourites for this, but my Australian friends out there, I'm going to do my best, I promise you. I'm going to do my best for you to bring some pride to Australian football. Playing in Spartak Moscow Stadium. We're going to attack France. We have to. Well, I've got my attacking mentality. I know it's quite a solid formation, 4-5-1. I've never really got the best out of solid formation, 4-4-2, 4-5-1. I can get 4-5-1 with wingers, proper wingers, rather than midfielders. Oh, look at that team. Griezmann, Dembele, Koeman, Pogba, Matuidi, Kante. I feel like the defence is penetrable, but then Lloris is a very good goalkeeper. So, yeah. Good luck, lads. Go out there and pull off an upset that hasn't inspired anyone. That hasn't inspired anyone. They're not listening to me. I mean, what the hell do we do about these players? I don't know. Dembele is just a machine on Football Manager, even at this age. Kingsley Coman. Griezmann, one of the best players in the world. Well then, this might be the end of Australia already. We might get thrashed 10-0 and it could destroy our confidence going into the other games. I did have people asking if I can find out a way of getting the real fixtures for the World Cup. Of course, I've created the real World Cup groups, which you can download off the Steam Workshop, but I haven't been able to find a way to put the real fixtures, the real group fixtures, like in the correct order. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if there is a way. It might not be possible. So I do apologise, but I really... I fiddled around with it, but I couldn't find a way. If anyone knows, using the editor, the proper editor, then please let me know. But I can't do it. So we just have to make the best of things. We've got the groups, so that's the main thing, isn't it? But here comes... Oh, good stuff. Good defending by Wilkinson there. But France come again, recycling possession. Oh, Dembele skips over a challenge. Look at him go. It's out wide. Sidibe crosses it in deep. Griezmann, 1-0. If we can't win our headers against these players... Like, Griezmann's not the tallest guy in the world, is he? We've got two solid centre-backs. You should be heading that away. We've lost. We've lost already. There's no way back into this. I need to somehow create some sort of tactical masterpiece to have any chance of winning getting out of the groups with these nations, let alone winning the World Cup. And I just don't think I have it in me. I sometimes stumble across very good tactics, but it takes a bit of time for them to come good. Maybe I could allow myself to maximise tactical familiarity. Would that be cheat? I mean, it is technically cheating, but for this sort of mini challenge, then maybe that's fair. I don't know. Oh dear. I think that's a red card for Brad Smith. Okay. We were going to lose this game regardless. It was all about the Peru and Denmark games. So write this off. I mean, if you want, you can just quit this video now, because it's going to be a loss. Please don't do that. Stay with me to the bitter end. Give me some comfort. What do I do now? We need to bring on a left back. We've got Bihic as a left back. Just let me put him on, please. France, just let me have 11 players. This is a big call, but I'm going to bring off Aaron Moy. He didn't play well in the friendlies. I'm going to do that. What are we going to do? I mean, we're going to lose 15-0 now. Down to 10 men against France. And they're already 1-0 up. We're not even at the halfway point of the... Well, we are at the halfway point of the first half, but we've not got half an hour into this. And, I thought that was going to be a red card or something there. But here they come again. This is going to be 2. Oh, good save, Ryan. Excellent. They've only had 5 shots. They've only had 1 clear-cut shot. Maybe defensively this is better than I thought. Here's Kante on the ball. We drew 0-0 against Faroe Islands. I mean, that is not the best build-up to the World Cup. Not the best preparation, is it? To try and win or try and do something at this World Cup. Let's try and stay positive. Peru and Denmark are beatable. And we're still only losing 1-0. You never know. We might pop up with a corner. We might produce a miracle. It's only 1-0 and we're with 10 minutes. That is positive in my books. They've only had 8 shots. They've only had 58% possession. This tactic can't be too bad. Unlucky. That's inspired them. There's a chance here. There really is, I think. We're going to hit it direct to Tim Cahill and hope that he can head the ball into the back of the net. He's got 18 on heading. So that is his obvious strength. Well, surprisingly, going into the second half, there's still a chance. It's a bit frustrating that they scored from a header as well. We should be heading those things away. Anyway, first highlight of the second half. Elric finds Rogic. Here's Jedinak into Cruz. Lumped up the top. Yeah, he's not going to win that. Tim Cahill. Apparently he's number 4 according to all the Google images of him in an Australian shirt. So I made him number 4 even though he's a striker. He did actually want to be number 17 though according to the game. You know, when you select the squad numbers, he said he wanted to be 17. But I gave him the number 4. Anyway, 25 minutes to go. Here come France looking to wrap this game up. And they do. Coman scores. It's all over now. You know, at 1-0 there was a chance that we could get a corner and do something. But yeah, this isn't happening. I'm going to hit early crosses into the box. Try something a little bit different. Let's just experiment a bit. Jedinak's knackered and on a yellow. Maybe we should throw on Milligan. Yeah, let's throw on Milligan. And Lecky's going to come off. We're going to bring on Tommy Orr. And that's all our subs for today. Maybe I should have kept Cahill fresh. Is Cahill even the best option as a striker? We've got Juric and we've got McLaren. Maybe I should be playing one of them and bring in Cahill off the bench as a super sub. The Australian super sub. Is he even going to the World Cup? I don't know. But you got to play him. He's the talisman of Australian football. What we need now is France to beat Peru and Denmark. Hopefully they'll finish on 9 points. And then it'll be a straight out battle between us 3 for second place. I mean, Cahill, he's winning the header, but he's heading it on to no one. I was considering having 2 up front, but then I thought that's just too attacking for Australia. We've got to go solid. But maybe we do need 2 up front. I don't know. Things I want Rogic and Moy in the team. Pogba! Ooh, almost 3. They should be winning by more than 2-0 against a 10-man Australian team that drew against Faroe Islands. No disrespect to Faroe Islands. They've done quite well recently, to be fair, in the last couple of years of international football. But we should be beating them going into the World Cup. Lost against Austria. Strong team, but they didn't qualify for the World Cup. But yeah, Austria definitely better than Australia at the moment, I would say. Arnautovic, what a player. Alaba, of course. We've got 2 very good players there. As Griezmann should make it 3, but he doesn't. They've underperformed, really. I'm going to say, I'm not going to be too harsh on my team. Sainsbury's had a good game at the back. He's on a 7-point-something. We've just not got anything going. We've had 2 shots. I've clicked shoot on sight, and we've still only had 2 shots. So we haven't even become within sight of the goal. That's pretty awful. 0 shots on target. But France were always going to be really difficult. The thing is, if I'm to win the World Cup with any of these nations, I'm going to have to beat the best. I'm going to have to create something, some sort of formula, some sort of tactic that does actually beat France and beats Germany and beats Brazil and Argentina and Belgium and all those teams, because otherwise I'm not going to win the World Cup unless I get a really lucky break, I qualify from a group, I come up against another team that wasn't expected to qualify from a group, and then the quarter-final stage somehow I get a team. You know, I could have a lucky draw, but it's very unlikely. I'm going to calmly say I can't fault your effort, because we only lost 2-0 with 10 men. It does mean Brad Smith is suspended for the next game. I can't really appeal that. It was a pretty awful challenge, to be honest, so I'm not going to appeal it. Although maybe I've got nothing to lose in appealing it. But I might get a touchline ban, maybe? I don't know. Well, they might extend the ban to 2 matches, and we need him for the last match at least. Anyway, the next part of this series, we're going to take on Peru, who, of course, beat Denmark, so it's a massive game. We've got to hope France can beat Denmark as well, I think, for us to have a realistic chance. But next game is make or break. We have to win that. So until next time, enjoy FM18, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon for part 2 of this mini World Cup series.